Every year, I select a word of the year that really helps narrow my focus, sets the vision for the year within my business, and helps really all of my clients and partners and colleagues and everyone that I'm working with really zero in on how we can continue to move the industry forward. And it becomes the foundation for everything, all the trainings that I do, the products and services that we create, how we consult with organizations and teams. Everything really kind of focuses on this word of the year. And I decided, with kind of everything that's happening within the world and around DEI, I'm not going to try to persuade anyone why DEI should exist. Really, the organizations that know, the people that know, the leaders that know, they're going to continue doing this work. And I want to be able to show up for them. And so this year we have selected a word that I think is going to help everyone continue to move forward and to do so in a really productive way. The word of the year for 2025 is refinement. And there are really two definitions here that I'm drawn to for a plethora of reasons. So the first is the process of removing impurities and unwanted elements from a substance. And if you know anything about the work that we do at Decide Diversity, then you'll know all about the table of diversity, which is instead of chemistry elements, it's elements of diversity. And so for that particular definition, it's like, well, that makes sense because, talking about the table of diversity, talking about the science of DEI, and all of those things, to see that definition associated with this is just another one of those things where it's like, okay, we're on the right track. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. The other definition, the improvement or clarification of something by making small changes, that one really resonates with me and I think is more central to where I see Decide Diversity going. Because as I said, I'm not really in the lane of trying to convince folks about DEI, but folks that are already doing this work, we've got to keep moving forward in a way that is productive, moving forward in a way that really achieves the goals that we want to achieve. The end goal hasn't changed. How we get there needs to be refined. And that's where this comes in. And by making some of those small changes to the strategies that we have, the way that we do things, the processes that we want to, carry on and ensure everyone is on the same page about, it definitely needs to be refined. And so I'm going to have a number of learning and development opportunities in 2025 that really helps us as leaders, as teams, and as organizations refine how we work, how we do diversity, equity, and inclusion so that we can achieve the end goal in a way that's sustainable and that is truly inclusive. So the first opportunity, learning and development opportunity, is in January. If you followed some of the videos, there's a shift in my mind that's happening when we're talking about the word privilege. And usually when we talk about that word, it's an attack on someone, even if we're trying to help them understand this is the advantages that perhaps you have. It gets us nowhere, really. It's at the end of the day, it's not a productive type of conversation, and it does nothing but put people on the defensive when really what we're trying to do is to enlighten, to help people understand, to show empathy. But at the end of the day, we want to encourage action. And so there's a shift that is happening from the word privilege, where we're focusing on the individual, to systemic disadvantage or systemic advantage or systemic access. And that's what I want to dive into. How can we make this really meaningful shift where we can start talking about the system and starting there, and then get to a moment of understanding how that might relate to each individual, self-reflection, more meaningful connection with one another, but doing that through a different lens. So again, it's about refinement. It's refining our language. It's refining our strategies. It's refining the way that we do things so that we can ultimately get to that end goal. So the first learning and development opportunity is in January. It's called From Privilege to Systemic Disadvantage, Shifting Languages and Strategies. I will be the facilitator of that webinar, of that masterclass, and it's free. It's free to attend so that you can better understand how we will start refining all the things that we do through a DEI lens. So check out the more information on that. And yeah, that's my word of the year: refinement. The process of removing impurities and unwanted elements from a substance, the improvement or clarification of something by making small changes. Do you have a word of the year for 2025? What is it? Let me know in the comments.